have to say welcome back to me, because you guys have all been here doing your thing in YouTube. I've been the one missing in action. So I'm coming to you today about the case of CASH Gernon, 14-year-old baby boy who on May 15th was kidnapped and murdered. This is a sad case, and in no way do I think it's cut and dry. But at the same time, I do have some new information. Some of you may already have it, some may not. So let me bring it to you. I will recap all of the rest of it, but today's new information is that a hoodie, glasses, and shoes of Darian Brown were found to have Cash's blood on them. They had tested positive. And Saturday, I believe, the 12th, his charges were upgraded from kidnapping and burglary or theft to include capital murder. So that's where we are today on July 14th, 2021. But let's go back to May 15th of 2021. Cash is a twin, and he was in the bed sleeping with his twin brother in the back of the home of Monica Sherrod. She had 4 children, ages between 18 and 14, I believe. And I think it's 3 boys and a girl. I could be wrong, but let's just go with that. And she knew the father of the twins for a couple years, or probably more than a couple years. I guess like they were from the same town or something like that. And they started dating, I believe, in February. He moved in March. Then he moved out or went away because he had some kind of warrant or something in May. And then this happens. Now, I'm going to stay on the Sherrods for a moment. Then we'll get to Darian Brown, the alleged murderer. The Sherrods. I feel that Monica, something shady about Monica. It's just my opinion, but she's giving me addict tendencies. Like, I don't know if it's alcohol, pills, street drugs. It could be none of the things. I just feel like something is not right. She's off some way. Now, it would be in her best interest to say that she was on drugs, because that's the only way I'm going to believe that you say you're normally up around 7, though you say Cash is the one that makes sure you're up at 7, but still, but you said you overslept. My thing is that when I oversleep, if I'm supposed to be up at 6, I'm up around 6:20, 30, the latest maybe 7:15, so an hour and a half. So but because your body has like this little clock, like, oh my God. But she, who says she's up at 7, does not wake until 10. And then she does not call the police until 11. Now, those of you who have seen the video know that Darius Brown stood over that baby for a while. But prior to that, the video starts with him with Cash, who I'm assuming was Cash, who everybody else is assumed is Cash, appears to be like he's coming from the bathroom. He goes get back in the bed and obviously falls asleep, and in walks Darian Brown, excuse me. And a lot of people were like, well, wait a minute, he's not even asleep yet. Well, I believe it's one of those nanny cams where, it's motion activated. So it could have been, that baby could have went to the bathroom at 2, and then Brown didn't get there until right before, at 4 o'clock or something like that in the morning. But he did pick Cash up and walk him out of that house at 4:58 in the morning. So with that being said, I want to know how somebody gets into your house and you don't hear anything, And why you put two babies in the back of a house? Because Monica gives an interview. Her son does a walkthrough interview. They put this child in the back room, which was probably a den of some sort. It doesn't look like it was a bedroom, but and these two 4-year-olds are both in this one little crib. Now I'm thinking, okay, you met this guy. I mean, you're with this guy. He moves in. You need to give him a room because you have 4 other kids. That's the only room you have. Okay, but the son says there's cameras all over the house. If there's cameras all over the house, that means it's for security measures, right? So why have cameras if you don't have locks? Because the son says that the garage door, the latch was broken. The one that, you pull it up so that you can drive in. The garage is a hot mess. It's just got, it ain't no cars pulling in there, I can tell you that much. And then the door leading to the house looks like this. First he says it's kicked in. Then he kind of retracts that, because he's thinking, well, if somebody kicks in a door, you can kind of hear that. You should be able to hear that. Somebody would hear that. Even if it was the babies who heard that, somebody would hear it. And but he says, well, the lock is broke or something like that, to make it like, let me take that back, because none of us heard it. Because as he's walking through, he says nobody heard anything. We were sleeping. If you can't hear the back of your house that doesn't have proper locks, even though he says that he thinks that Brown broke the locks, he did this ninja style because nobody heard anything. Why are you putting 2 babies all the way back there? But whatever. So, and to those of you who do not know anything about these cases, these babies have a biological mother. Supposedly the mother hasn't had them for over a year, but supposedly she had been looking for them. I don't know why he didn't send those babies to the mama when he knew he had to be on the run, but that's neither here nor there. But the mother now has Carter, and 2 of Monica's children were removed from the home. I do not know if she's got them back at this point, but I do know that they were removed from the home. She set up a GoFundMe account. Why? I have no idea, because you're not going to bury him. You don't have medical bills. What exactly do you need a GoFundMe for? Because they were not your children. They are now gone. Had you had a GoFundMe to help you feed and clothe them while this man left you with his kids and he didn't give you no money, that's one thing. But to set up a GoFundMe after he's dead and gone, like, what you need? If you need medical, mental health and all that, the county will have that for you. You just need to apply. You need to reach out to somebody. But okay, so you have this. You thought it was okay to have a GoFundMe. Obviously somebody else did, because supposedly there was some money given. I don't know how much money she collected, but I just thought it was very vile that she did. But moving on, I digress. So the son, he gives this interview, and then, the kids' room is in through the kitchen, through the dining room, and in this little room. So there's just those 2 doors to keep out anybody. And then he doesn't show the rest of the house. So I don't know how far away in that house the children or the parent room is, but it obviously far enough away where nobody heard a thing, is what they say. And then of course, nobody's waking up at any normal hour. They're all sleeping in really late, because clearly everybody slept in till 10 and 11 o'clock, because they didn't call the cops until 11. She claimed she was up at 10. Why did it take you an hour? They were like, oh, we're looking for him and all of this. Now, here's the map of where the body was found and where the house is. That's a bit of a distance. So there's another thing. Now, Brown did this, got that baby from point A to point B, but got himself back. I don't know where his home is in all of this, but got himself from there, I'm assuming, back to his home where the hoodie and the glasses I told you about probably went. But when he went into the house the first time, he had on his hood was up. He had on black glasses. He had like some kind of little face mask on and a backpack. He's standing around. He's doing his whatever it is he's doing. He takes the baby. That's at 4:58. He returns at 7:30, minus the hood, minus the glasses, minus the backpack. Looks around as if though he's going to abduct Carter. Says something about 8 hours of sleep, mumbles some more, and it appears as if though he heard something and he leaves. So if he heard something, maybe somebody's stirring out there, they're waking up, or they're coming or something like that, he leaves. Well, the son said that they had cameras all over the house. So if they had cameras all over the house, how come y'all not showing us the footage of y'all scurrying around looking for these babies at 10, 10:05, 10:10, 10:30, quarter to 11, or at 11 when you called the cops? How come we don't see none of that footage? How come we don't see any footage of them going in that room looking for the twins? Because at this point, y'all didn't hear anything, so y'all don't know that he not in there. So how come we don't see? Because it's motion. That means you should see some motion of them coming and going. I want to know why nobody has released that. Like, why we don't see any of that. You do see the poor little baby come back, and he appears to be looking for his brother, and then that's it. That's all we see. There are a few people that are like, oh, something's changed in the room because look, the window coverings are, they were dark and now they're light. Simmer down. That's just the light coming from the outside coming in. So at night it looks darker than they are. In the daytime, the sun coming through them, and they're very thin material, it's gonna look different. So I don't think anybody came into that room and did anything, but this is what the room looked like, and this is where these babies were. Now, back to where he had to go ditch some clothes and stuff. I'm assuming he went home, dropped off the backpack, maybe washed up, because Cash died from multiple stab wounds to the chest. Obviously, there's some blood somewhere because there's some blood on the hoodie, some blood on some glasses. I mean, you got blood on the glasses, and you got some blood on his shoes. But it could be very, very faint sprays of blood. Of course, we're not going to see in this black and white, to where he came back at 7:30. So I don't know if it was the same clothes or different clothes and they just look similar. We don't know. But this is what he does. But Cash is found at 6:45 in the morning. So it didn't take that long, an hour or so or whatever, for Brown had an hour or so before the body was found, and to get back to that house and to drop off whatever he was dropping off in between all of this. Now, the neighbors claim that they called a month prior to this abduction, complaining about catching Brown on video, trying to get into people's cars, going in people's yards, just looking really suspicious in the hood, and nobody said anything. Now here's the kicker. Some of you may know, some of you may not, but let me tell you, this is what got me. He had tried to abduct another child in February. He was kicking in the door, trying to get into this man's house. It was a grandfather watching his grandbaby. Brown tried to take the baby, actually took the baby out of his hand and assaulted the man. The man managed to get his grandbaby back. He actually didn't even press charges, but Brown was charged with assault on an elderly and attempted kidnapping. About 2 weeks, the grandfather dropped the charges or refused to go through with the charges or whatever, because Brown supposedly apologized. Like it's a misunderstanding. Something about his imaginary girlfriend he looking for or whatever. So it was like a whole big old thing. But forget the reasons why and all of that. This man tried to take, or this 18-year-old boy tried to take another child. This ain't his first rodeo. So my thing is that where were these parents who claim now that he's being framed? And yes, they're saying now that he's on medication and he has a mental problem. I need to know, is this the first time y'all realizing that your 18-year-old has a mental problem? Because the lawyer said sometime this weekend, or if not today, that he doesn't know how he's going to plead or how he's going to run the case because he doesn't have all the evidence, but his client is schizophrenic. So I'm like, the parents didn't know none of this? They no? Okay. But same notion, same notion. You know who knew about this? Oh, little Monica Sherrod. So that's why I'm like, okay, because he was friends with her son. He went to school with the 18-year-old. Now, me personally, if I say I have friends, or if my daughter did, they're her friends. She never said, Mom, this is my associate, wants to come in and play video games. That's so not what she said. So, but Monica was like, well, they weren't friends. They were associates. Associates. So, whatever, lady. But they playing video games with your kids, you know, all before any of this. I don't know how many times, but they did. And he went to school with the other one, with one of them. I think that the daughter said he was an associate or something like that. And but 2 days, I think, before the kidnapping of Cash, she came home from the grocery store and he was in the home. Supposedly, she felt uncomfortable because he was playing with the kids, and you shouldn't be playing. A grown boy shouldn't be playing with 4-year-olds. And you know, she put him out and got mad at her kids and said he could never come back. I just felt like that's a little suspect. How come you didn't elaborate more? Like, why didn't you say he just tried to kidnap somebody? Because supposedly she was there and she said that he's having a meltdown and he needs medical treatment. Well, if you knew this, you should share that, because everybody got this information from the victim, who came out later stating that he tried to kidnap my grandchild and, you know, all of this stuff. So I'm just like, okay, she felt she would have been better off telling us that that's why she kicked him out, because she still didn't say, she just said that she just didn't like the way it looked. Kids are playing video games. They're all playing. It's not his turn. And a 4-year-old is sitting there talking to him. It doesn't seem suspect. So I don't know what she saw, what she felt, but she could have had the little mother's intuition and been like, okay, yeah, I just don't like this vibe. You got to go. But she made it seem like it was a lot more than it was. So I'm like, and of course I heard this story before I found out about the other attempted abduction. So I'm just like, she should have led with that, but she didn't. But anyway. And but to me, it's everything about the whole entire case is suspicious. And I read something where they said that when they called the cops at 11 o'clock, they took them down to the police station or whatever, and they did not reveal that there was a video camera in that room until they got there. That'll be the first thing I'm looking at. I'm looking at that before I'm calling the cops. But supposedly they forgot about it. So yeah, that happened. And but nonetheless, he got arrested, and he was only charged for a few weeks actually, with kidnapping, theft / burglary. Like, it was, some reports said it was theft, some said it was burglary. I don't know the difference in the two charges, but maybe one holds a different weight. But and that's it until Saturday, when the charges were bumped up to capital murder. So I will definitely be staying on this case. I do believe that even though it's in Texas, and Texas is good for putting you down, you did something you ain't supposed to, you gonna die. I don't believe somebody who has a mental illness and it's proven can get the death penalty. I'm not for sure, but if so, then he won't be given the death penalty, but he will, stand trial for the capital murder and get whatever the sentence is that you can get. If it's not, and he can, 9 times out of 10 in Texas, they're going for the death penalty. And this is a case where I can't see them not doing that. I just don't. Once again, if he is mentally challenged and has whatever true diagnosis, then then so be it. But if not, yeah, it's gonna be a sad day for him and his family. But once again, he is allegedly the killer. I have a little problem with the parents. Like, you knew he was on these meds, you were quick to jump for that. Why y'all not paying attention to where your kid is? Why is your kid on video doing all of the things and then nobody's saying nothing? Like, why aren't you watching him? Why are you letting him be out at 3, 4, 5 in the morning? Nothing good comes from somebody being out at 3, 4, 5 in the morning unless they're going to work or they're working out. Other than that, what good are you in these streets at that hour? And so, to me, I'm like, okay, did he come back in and out of the house and y'all not concerned? They probably slept through that too. But should you be sleeping through that? Shouldn't you be a little bit more apprehensive of the things that he could do when you go to sleep? Especially when he just, a couple months ago, he just tried to take a whole baby. Come on now. But also to the police, they said that the police never did anything. The neighbors, they tried to tell them and they never did anything. So to me, I'm just like, okay, this was like leading up. He's tries to kidnap this baby. The police know about that. You got neighbors reporting he's breaking in, he's over here, he's doing all the things. And menacing behavior needs some attention. And it didn't get the attention that it needed. And I think that maybe had it, Cash would be alive. Just my opinion. But, that's why I do on my channel. I give my opinion. And I've given it. And I will be concluding this video for right now. And we will definitely be revisiting it when some new stuff comes up. Maybe they'll show the trial and we'll see it live on YouTube. Or I will wait until I can get the court documents, because I'm going to bring them to you. I'm going to read them regardless if I do see the trial, because they leave out some stuff sometimes. So I'm going to want to read that for myself. And until then, I have a little small public announcement. I'm not trying to sell anybody anything. I am a volunteer for a crisis hotline. And over the last few months, I've heard some horrific stories. And I want to let everyone know out there that you are valuable. You are valuable to someone somewhere, and definitely to me, because I talk to the people all the time and I just feel like they feel as if though they aren't valued. And I don't even understand it, because you know why? You are. But what you need to know is that you haven't met the person for you yet. And if you take your life, they lose out just like you did. So hang in there, talk to somebody. You can text the number, you can call a number. There's so many things you can do. And you don't even have to be in crises. You can just be having a bad day. You could be missing your mother who's now deceased. Anything, just give a call, talk about it. Because once again, you weren't put here to take your own life. Remember that. You were put here for a reason, and until you figure out what that reason is, there's no reason for you to leave us. Until next time, deuces.